Okay, my little buddy, where are we going this week? I'll tell you what, it's not Japan. It's not Germany. No! And not even China.
Who cares?
Where haven't we been in a long time? Where? Do you know where? Mother Russia. That's right. We're looking at a Soviet-produced lens. It's got some good reputation. A lot of the Soviet stuff can be questionable just depending on where it's made and the particular sample that we have.
They suck. They just suck.
But this particular one is a Jupiter. Not the planet Jupiter, but a Jupiter 8. And Jupiter 8 is a 50 millimeter f2. That sounds familiar, right? Sounds like a Leica lens. Sounds like a Zeiss lens. Well, it's a copy of a Zeiss lens. And do you know which one they copied? Do you know? You do? Okay, go ahead, tell us. Smarty pants. Well, let's all find out together whether this Jupiter 8 is worth grabbing for yourself or not. So grab yourself something to eat or drink and get yourself comfortable.
You just ate the most acid I've ever seen anybody eat in my life.
And let's get it on.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and my co-host Dylan. That's right, Dylan and I back for another episode of Camera Talk. And here we are in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Yeah. Guess what? We're swinging bachelors this weekend. That's right. Mommy went off to Japan with her mom.
One ticket to Tokyo, please.
For a birthday present for her mom. On a 4-day little trip of Tokyo and the surrounding area. So good for them. Good for us too, you know. We get to hang out here alone, doing what guys do, swinging parties and all kinds of chicks coming on over to visit us and everything.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Well, not really. But that's what we could do if we really wanted to. But what are we looking at this week? As the introduction said, we're looking at a Soviet-produced lens, and it's called a Jupiter. And Jupiter produced, well, not they produced, but there were a number of Jupiter lenses. The one closest relative to this one is called a Jupiter 3, and it was a 1.5 aperture. This one's a Jupiter 8, and it's an f2. And it was a straight-up copy, as best they could anyway, of the Carl Zeiss Sonnar 50 millimeter.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
50 millimeter f2. Is it as good as a Carl Zeiss? Probably not. I mean, hey, anybody copying anything is not going to be quite as good as the original. There are exceptions out there, of course, but this is not one. So, anyway, this Jupiter 8, as I said, was produced in a suburb of Moscow. Back in 1953 is when they began producing this. And the suburb was called wait, get my Russian accent in there. Krasnogorsk. Krasnogorsk. It's better when you lower your voice like a Russian, right? And the name of the factory was KMZ. which is a famous optics factory. They produced a number of famous Soviet lenses out there, and we'll look at those in future videos. But anyway, this one produced 1953 through to 1974. My particular model, this one here, was produced 1961. It was a little before Daddy's time. Yeah.
You know, back in my day, we didn't have live meat.
So anyway, it's for its age, it's still in pretty good condition. You know, the aperture opens and closes very smoothly. Actually, you could say a little too smoothly. You could probably breathe on it and shift it from one aperture to the next. Its focus is very smooth too. It's a decent build. It's aluminum body. I've had it cleaned up and everything, so it's nice and shiny like it was the day it was made, sort of thing. And it has a bluish tint coating to the front element. So it's it's a cool little device. Now, it was designed for rangefinder cameras, the Kiev and the Zorsky 3. Were the rangefinders of the day in the Soviet Union, and so it is a rangefinder design, and it's an L39 thread mount. So I have it on an adapter, L39 to NEX, so I can put it on my Sony A7R II, and get you some shots of the dude.
I'm the dude.
That's right. Okay, dude, how about you shift on over to that side for me? All right, so, here we are. What time is it anyway? 2 o'clock-ish, Vietnam time in the afternoon. Hear that? Almost a yawn out of them there. It's getting to be right around that nap time for you. We just got back from Hokkaido, which is a Japanese sushi place at the mall. Had some nice sushi for lunch. Anyway, so here we are doing camera talk. And I can see his eyes are drooping already. So let's not drag this on too long or he's going to be hitting the floor. Hey, sleepyhead, stay awake. So let's take a look at the specs on this thing. It's 6 elements in 3 groups, which is your typical Sonnar design. It has a close focus of 1 meter, which is 1,000 millimeters, which is not all that close, but hey, for the day, back in the early 60s and designed in 1953, a meter was perfectly fine. It was kind of standard. It's 9 aperture blades, which is nice. Keeps your bokeh balls round. We like our balls round, right? Yeah, we like our balls round.
Say, everybody haven't seen my balls.
Right, you can dream of whatever 3-year-olds dream of. While Daddy wraps this up here, and it's 130 grams. Its characteristics. Now, shot wide open at f2, it has a reputation for being a little soft, not surprising. It has a glow to it. Some people would say that's the Zeiss or the Leica glow. It's got some 3D pop to it, or it can have. It sharpens up by 2.8. I mean, it's f2. This is all happening by f2.8. It's behaving as you would expect it to. Now, depending on sample to sample. Again, the Soviets didn't look at quality control as their number one thing. So
What? No.
you might have a super sample and you might have a really crappy sample. But it could suffer from back focusing as well. But much better than its like I told you before, the Jupiter 3, the f1.5, had a terrible reputation for back focusing and other issues along with it. But it has pretty good, this one has pretty good bokeh, has pretty decent image quality. It's economical compared, if you're going to buy an original Zeiss Sonnar or like a Summicron f2, they're going to be much more expensive than this thing. So other than that, Sonars were designed by Dr. Ludwig Bertele to be sharp in the center and kind of fall off at the edges. So it's great for portraiture, which is my cup of tea anyway. And again, wide open if it's a little glowy or a little washed out. Adding contrast in post these days with your specific software can have its advantages. So with that said, how about some real world shots here? What I normally do is take a picture using this lens of my Canon M50, which is recording this video at the moment, and it has a 15 to 45 kit lens, EFM lens on the body. So what I do is I try to focus in on the nameplate and the writing on the nameplate as best I can, and see how sharp this baby really is. So why don't I do that? Hopefully Dylan doesn't fall off my leg. But before I do that, let me get into my steady shot and make sure I'm on the right focal length, which I am. So stay with me, buddy. Stay with me. Alright. Hold on, one click too many. Oh, it's better if I do this, so you stay tuned, mister. Right there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that was f2. Now let's look at 5.6. We'll do the same thing. Stay with me, buddy. 5.6, right about there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that was f2 and f5.6. Now speaking of real world, how about we get some pictures of the dude, which I took just before recording this video, which was good timing obviously, since doing it afterwards would have been a lot of sleepy pictures of Dylan. So here is Dylan at f2. All right, you think it looked good? Yeah, looking spectacular. All right, well here's Dylan at f5.6. And how's that? You think you look better? Think you look even better than at f2? Well, there you go. The sleepy Dylan thinks so.
Get the fuck out.
So, how about some random stuff? So there's obviously other uses for this lens other than taking pictures of Dylan. So luckily he's asleep and he doesn't hear that because he thinks he's the center of the universe. everything revolves around the dude. So here's some random stuff at various apertures. So Jupiter 8 50mm f2 at f whatever. Okay, now that was the random stuff. Getting kind of heavy breathing there, mister. So, can we recommend it? I can't ask him because he's not going to respond. So, can I recommend it? Sure. For the price it is, it has a nice creative element.
I don't like the artsy fartsy thing. I think I hated his.
You know, if you're into shots that aren't, clinically sharp and all that kind of stuff, as they call it today. So it's economical and it's cool using old vintage stuff.
At least we're not fucking idiots.
On modern digital bodies. So yes, I can recommend it. Other than that, a little shout out for our the photo editing software that I use. If you were awake, I'd say that we use, but only I'm using it. And they are Luminar AI and Luminar Neo. I don't think they sell AI anymore, but I have it, so that's why I still list it. And that's the thing about Luminar. If you buy it, it's yours for life. So I have Luminar 3, Luminar 4, Luminar AI, and Luminar Neo, and Luminar HDR. But anyway, the thing about Neo, which is their latest, greatest one, is it's made up from Luminar 4 and Luminar AI. So it is full of AI. I got all kinds of great stuff. What is AI? You know what AI is? You tell us what AI is? Here, since you're dreaming of it.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me.
How about you give us your dreamy definition of AI? 1, 2, 3. No, what kind of dream is that? Artificial intelligence, mister. That's right. Anyway, it's yours for life if you buy it. $90 today anyway. But if you click on the link in the description below, there's a link to Luminar through our link. And what happens is that, if you buy it through that link, you'll get a $10 discount, which means it's only $80. And what do they do with that extra $10 that you're saving? Well, they give it to us because I just told you about it, right? So that's called kickback. Yay! Kickback. Yeah. And, hey, if we get that kickback, if Dylan was awake, I'd ask him what he does with that $10. But since he's in La La Land.
The wonderful world of Camerland.
I'll keep the $10 this time.
Cheap bastard.
Maybe I'll share it with him later in the future. But anyhow, get yourself a copy. Because not only is it supporting, the company, it's also supporting the people of Ukraine, since that's where they're located. And everybody knows what's going on there. So anything we could do to help those citizens of Ukraine get through this terrible time that they're having, it helps. So other than that, well, who are we? I'm Dr. Scott. You're Dylan.
I'm Spartacus!
Bond. James Bond.
And together we are Modesty Photography. And we're here to talk about tips and tricks about photography, vintage lenses, vintage cameras, camera systems, whether it's full frame 42 megapixel or digital rangefinder 24 megapixels or micro four thirds 18 megapixels. You know, again, there's all kinds of things that we talk about here at Modesty Photography. So, why should people come back? Should people come back?
No. 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 No.
I think you should come back. Come back next week because we do this every week. You know, it's Vietnam time, so remember that. So it's Friday our time. So that could be the day before yours or the day after your time, depending on where you are in the world. That's some pretty funky time math, isn't it?
A dimension of mind.
But anyhow, it would be great too if you help support our channel. And how do you support us? Besides financially, of course. How about you subscribe? And using Dylan's sleepy hand. Subscribe. And using all our hands together. Subscribe. Well, that's right. And what else does YouTube like besides subscribers?
Like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Well, they like the thumbs up. You give us a thumbs up, we'll give you a little sample of the thumbs up girls. Dylan's favorite part of the show. He's probably dreaming of them right now.
It was all a good spanking.
So let me help mess with his dream a little bit. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Do 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 do. Thumbs up. So, I think that was about it, right? So I guess we should thank you. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for supporting us with your subscription. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for buying a copy of Luminar through our link. Thank you for coming back week after week after week. Thank you for thinking Dylan is a cute little sleepy head. Thank you for just being you. That's right. And why should you come back here? Because as I tell my students all the time, you belong here. That's right. And where do they belong, buddy? What's the name of this show? Well, this was Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right. And Sleepy Dylan. Okay, well that's it. I gotta go put this guy down, obviously. So he doesn't start drooling all over my microphone or something. So thanks for everything, and we'll see you in the next episode. All right, so thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you later. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.
Here I am,